Well, anyway, hey guys, it's raised by Gen Xer. Anyway, probably should have started this video before now, but what I'm doing is this piece is, well, it's stainless. The end was all not true, so I'm making it true, and then I'm going to, well, as you can see, it's already center drilled. I'm going to drill a hole through it, if that drill bit's long enough, when it doesn't have to be long enough, but anyway, from that I am drilling it and then going to bore it out to the specific size once I get the vehicle in here that needs this part, and then I will proceed on with that and we will see. So here's the lock for the tailstock. Well, that's a little warm. It's not supposed to be like that. Considering the fact I'm kind of pushing it through. The stainless doesn't really like to drill that good. And that isn't really that surprising to me. I'm drilling with a lathe, which is what this is at the moment. Drilling with a manual lathe, you have to go slower than anticipated for one, safety, and two, you have your tooling and all of that as well. Well, that wasn't the smartest to leave that drill in there a little bit. And we should be breaking through the other side anytime now. Anytime now. Anytime. There we go. So here in a bit, I will slide this. That's the nice thing about this thing being so small. I want to say small. It's a decent sized for an at-home precision bench lathe. I don't know how precise this thing actually is, but now we're winging it, going with it, and see what happens. Now I need the vehicle in here so I can get the other measurements. And through video magic. That will be tomorrow or the next day, but for you guys, just in about, let's say, a couple of seconds. Alright, so I'm back here. Like I said, a couple seconds for you, a couple days for me. Mainly because I just got this tier truck in the shop. So, taking this off, this is the bottom side of the spotlight. Back here on the lathe, I'll jump back over there here in a few minutes. And so I need to take this completely apart, get this shaft out, which goes straight through the roof onto that base, which is what I'm going to remake. Because somebody backed into a barn, I'm not naming names, and forgot this was up there, and they cleared the headache rack, but they didn't clear this and broke it. That has been at least a year ago, and yeah, and I'm just now getting to it, if that says anything. So there's a screw here, a flathead, there's a nut, I already took it off, I got it setting on the dash here. So I think I need to take this handle off, which there's another flathead. There's another flathead. I'm pretty sure this light is from the 50s because it has International Harvester stamp on the light bezel, which I will get to here in a probably a minute or so here, if that. So all I'm gonna do is take this screw here, if I can get it. The other side is already loose because if I recall right, I never tightened it, or I tightened it enough, but I didn't tighten it all the way when I took this out and put it back in the first time. That is a tiny screw which I just dropped here. And that goes right there, right beside the nut, up there. So there is no possibility of any way to drop it any further, because that is at the lowest point of the dash. Well, not the lowest, but lowest point going downwards. I would, because this truck isn't gonna go side to side or rock or anything while I'm working on this enough to really bother that, I should say. So I gotta take this out and don't drop it. That is the, see, they're that small with that small of a flathead. So you can imagine why I didn't move my why I didn't look anywhere else when I dropped this other one. And then this little thing, it'll come off, and it's a little switch mechanism. And I think what I need to do is get a new bulb for this to actually make it work, because when I first got it, it worked, but I used it or did something, or the person that hit the barn with it broke it. But honestly, I don't know. I turned it on one day and it worked fine. Went to turn it on the next day or week or something along those lines, and it didn't work. So I don't know what happened there. It could just be a simple fact of, hey, it burned out, or it could be completely different. So it looks like here, right there, I'm going to have to also pliers or wrenches, well, what's this? Anything becomes a hammer, and when you're desperate enough, I should say. But there are certain things that should not be a hammer nor C-clamp, and that is any sort of precision measuring devices like micrometers, calipers, or anything like that. Tape measure, who really cares? That isn't that accurate. It's within a, I don't know. Depends on the tape measure, which it honestly does. Okay, I'm gonna get this out and then I'll be back. So, Well, that didn't take long. It's out. Like, I set the camera down for 2 seconds and hit it, and it came out. So that's there, and all it is a oh, there's a nut in there. Oh, I might. Oh, nope, didn't have to. Okay. Hopefully my pristine orange headliner here is okay. I'm pretty sure the reason that is orange and everything else is also orange is because of, well, it's a custom, but it's also an Explorer. So I don't know, although custom with this trim package, or these years of trucks from 73 to 79, which is also known as a dent side Ford, and Ford, well, yeah, Ford's thing here. So that's just a little terminology. The custom was, you customize it any way you want. And then the, like, let's see, Ranger XLT, that was the highest trim package that you could get. See, it's an F-250, heavy duty. There's also with a divorce transfer case, also known as a high boy Ford. So, if I get up here, I already got my handy dandy little screwdrivers, because I knew I was going to be doing this. Hopefully I don't dent the top of the cab. So, see right there, International Harvester. So I don't know, I don't know how old this light is, but I know it's pretty old. Yes, it is a LG light bulb. So that might be something to do with why it's broken. Well, burnt out, technically. So I believe here, I need to take this screw out, that screw. I don't think I need to mess with that one. I don't think. I could be wrong. Could be. I hope so. But, wait a minute. How did that get... What? I'm confused, because when I pulled that bottom off, there wasn't a light that came... Never mind, there's a shaft inside of here that if it gets grounded out, I think, it won't do certain things that need to be done to make this work. I think. I have no idea. There's certain things that I do that I just make it look like I know what I'm doing. But in all reality, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna get this off. Get it off, figure out how to, oh, there's an ant. Figure out how to get it off. And start the camera up again. So, alright, well, it's out. Turns out I did not have to take that loose or that loose. I just pulled it straight out of there. But I did found something out. That little screw there had to be loose, of course, because there's a plastic bushing in here that I forgot about. And yes, I did try to buy one of these off of the internets. I don't remember if it was a Jungle website or Fleabay or whatever it was, but I tried to buy one, couldn't. Well, okay, I found one, went to order it, and they said it was out of stock. So I said screw it and making my own. So as you can see, somebody tried to patch this with silicone. I don't know if it's this piece or this gasket under here. It could be both. So I have yet to take this off. So it's been on here since way before I had the truck. Probably for 30 years, honestly. So if you have any type of common sense. Also, these cabs are not very structural. I wonder why. Might be why they quit making them. For safety purposes. Who cares about safety in one of these old things? I sure don't. But anyway, taking these out, gonna take it back there to the lathe, get some measurements off of it and see what I can do or need to do. Which I might have to do this, or if I do it correctly, I can get some measurements, the measurements that I absolutely, oh, what? Well, that's weird. Huh, I don't know, this dirt has probably been in here since 1982 or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, definitely been on here for a while. I don't know why there's a wood screw in here, but that wood screw is not going to go back in there. I need that gasket to trace. So I'm going to take this little thing back to the lathe, get some measurements off of it, and see what I can come about. And probably make the new one better than this one was ever intended to be made. Because I'm pretty sure this is not... I think it's just steel chrome plated. I think. Because that doesn't look like stainless, and if anybody... Stainless does not do that little bubbling thing. Chrome does, but stainless does not. See, like that right there? But anyway, so I'm back here at the lathe. I haven't measured that yet. So I think I did figure out where my leakage is coming from. See, all around that it's cracked. I mean, being 40-year-old rubber, I'm sure that I'm pretty sure that might be the issue. Well, I've had not that, but I've had some other vehicles that have rubber seals older than 40 years old and they don't leak. I don't know how that's possible. Although it's not on an exterior facing in the hard weather, it's on the drive line somewhere. Anyway, so this is not actually what I thought it was. It is, I think it's cast aluminum or pot metal or something. Some sort of metal that isn't designed to be broken or anything like that. Because if that was actually machined, one, it wouldn't look like this. And two, it wouldn't have broken like that. I can tell you that right now. But a little plastic bushing in there. I want to see if I can save that and put it in this new one. But if I'm looking at this correctly, I will have just barely enough material lengthwise to make this the same length. Doesn't have, or height, I should say. But doesn't have to be, but I would like it to be. So now here comes the fun part. Trying to figure out that's a brass bushing. Okay, I thought that was plastic, but it's not. It's brass. See that little shiny piece right there? Yeah, it's brass. Anyway, I like how they split that. So if I can, I will make this identical to this piece here in my hand. If I can, I will. If not, I'll make it. Like if I'm missing this piece, where the bolt goes through, big whoop. If I can make with the tolerances and everything, if I can make where this bushing goes the same size as what it needs to be, great. That eliminates the need to turn this down which I think what I'm going to have to do is figure out the distance between the center and the furthest out point of this flange via math or measuring or something, because I don't think I have precision dowel pins for measurements. yes, I can make them, but that takes more time that I really don't want to do. Or take the time to do, I should say. Yes, I can do it. I don't want to. But if I can get this brass bushing out without messing it up and remake this, that'd be awesome. But I'll take some measurements and I will be back. One other news, well, it's same topic, kind of. So I got the bushing out, which is a split brass bushing, which I could tell by the sound of it, and also the looks. I'm not going to remake that, because that seems like that is something that would take extremely way too long. Not really, it'd probably take only 5 minutes. But I got it out without messing it up, so that's all I needed. And then this here is a leather seal that went inside of there. Well, at the bottom, under this bushing here. I have to remind myself which way is the top. Maybe scrape a little oxidation off. But anyway. Dropped it. And got a metal chip on my finger in the process. So I'm going to have somebody make me a new one of the, well, yeah, just have him make me a new one, because that'll give him a good challenge and me, so I don't have to make it. So got this all apart, so what I need to do is I need to measure, that is a 2-step and tapered hole at the bottom. So measure the internal diameter here, from this point to this point, straight across, and then the same thing on this side to make a shoulder to hold not only this, but to also hold this. So I need to basically just figure out what the distance is between this inner wall of the screw hole to the outside diameter of the, let's just call it a bracket, a spotlight bracket, there you go, base, whatever you may call it. I don't know the technical name, but anyway, figure out the distance from this inner lip to this outer diameter here. Probably add 20 or 30 to this thousandths, that is, to this inner. And no, at this point I have not measured anything. I need to measure them and write it down somewhere. So after I find a piece of paper, something along those lines. Anyway, I don't know why my phone is doing some weird stuff with the camera. Okay, that's all it was. Go over here. Go back over here. I think it's because of LEDs. So, well, that's interesting. All of those are just wood screws, I guess. Who would have thought? So, remake that, and in the process of remaking this, after I measure this and write it down, I will. I don't know what I'll do. I'll be back. So I measured the distance between that inner, basically like that. So the average is 500 thousandths. 580 thousandths is the average between all four of those. So what I'm going to do is add 20 to that, which would make that, which would, if I can get it here. Anyway, it would make it 600 thousandths, which is pretty much right there. So that's what that would make that. So I need to make from the, this isn't a real precise job making making that distance there. That is not really that precise, but I still want to be as accurate as I can be because it gives a good practice to be accurate on an old machine that may or may not be accurate. I don't know. But I've made more accurate things in the past on this same machine, or ones that are worse than this machine. I say worse. Not as well kept up to maintain tolerance. There you go. The most critical part on this thing that I need to be the most accurate of on this base here is this internal diameter, that step down there, and that little hole there. Hence why I started with a, I don't know, what is that, 5/16 drill bit to drill it. Whatever that may be. I have no idea. I didn't measure it. I just kind of drilled. So I'm pretty sure I know how they did this. Because the only machine part on this is that inside. Actually, it's not even really machined. It's just that bottom taper that is kind of machined. Maybe. That little, like, discoloration there, that looks like that's been machined there before. Not too sure. But I know it's dirty and hasn't been cleaned. I've never touched it. So whoever put it in, or whoever had it, per se, must have not cared or something. So it's going to be 600 thousandths from this inner lip to the outer. This outside edge here doesn't matter, as long as the center here is cut down more than the rest, because the top of that cab is not flat. It is, well, there's kind of a curve to it, but since this has been on there for so long, it's kind of made to fit this, if that makes any sense. So I know on this, just by looking at it, there's a like a 1/2 thousandths taper, if that from this outer ring here, this sealing surface to these screw holes. There isn't much, and I can tell this here isn't flat either. So there is not a flat surface on this, but maybe the top there, well, where the top of the screw holes are, and the top of this. But anyway, I'll fire this up, and I'll I guess figure out how I need to set up my compound and the tool post, and figure out, do some math numbers, and do smart people things. There you go. What I'm going to have to do is do this side, make this. I'm not going to try to even make that tapered. I'm just going to make it straight and round the edge, and then possibly make that, let's just say, 1/2 thousandths from 90, because I know it's not flat. It's got a tiny taper towards the inside. So we'll figure it out, or I'll figure it out and go from there. Alright, so I got the dial indicator here set up to where it'll tell me my zero of the material. Yes, I don't need to be this accurate, but at the same fact, it gives me some good practice to practice my skill on for running a manual lathe. Which, I mean, if you can, if you want to be good at something, you gotta practice and do it. If you want to be even better, and be even more better, still, you gotta practice. Practice, I don't know if it makes perfect, but practice definitely makes you better. And doing some practice for anything is better than doing nothing. And also, progress. This right here, I'm making progress. Will it be done by the time I'm tired of working on it? I don't know. But it's progress. And if you can do a little bit of progress on your project vehicle, or if you're into video games or something like that, if you can make some progress on that, a little bit each day, preferably project vehicles, or something that includes not being in front of a screen. Because I believe if you can get out and you cannot be in front of your TV or computer or something like that, I think you're doing pretty good. If you can get out and have some fun while you're trying to do some other things, like, you know, appropriate and healthy and all that, if you can get out and exercise or do something like that each day, in fact, maybe it's hot outside or something and you want to go on a walk. If you got a treadmill, walk on the treadmill inside if it's too hot for you outside. If it's too hot out and you don't have a treadmill and you got a pretty decent sized house, just walk around your house. If you're trying to get, you know, do fitness or something along those lines. I'm not your fitness coach. I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. The only person that's judging is you and the good Lord above. All you can do is live your life and to the fullest, because tomorrow isn't promised. But anyway, back to this. So I got this set. As long as I don't move this or kick the lathe by accident, the base legs are tilted. Anyway, I got my mark here at roughly, it might be a couple thousandths in or out. It's somewhere around, see that little ring right there? It's somewhere around, I can't even feel it, but it's somewhere around 600 thousandths. So I'll turn it and I'll cut the inside. I need to measure from that to that distance from my thumbnail to the inside base and see what it is, which actually I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I measured that in a couple places that I could actually measure, not this spot. Well, I could measure this, but the crack would get in the way. And the average is 294 thousandths. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it an even 300. Because all I have is the dimensions to that. I don't have prints or anything like that. If I did, it would make video demonstration a little easier. But I don't. So I'm just kind of going with it, going off the dimensions of that. So, make it an even 300, or I could do 290, which would give it a little bit more, that might be a better alternative. That would give it a little bit more distance between this inside here and this outside. So what I'm going to do is, speaking of strength of that, I know I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. I'm going to measure this inside surface to this outside surface and see what the thickness is and try to get this. I can't do that until I cut this over here down, but if I can keep this little flange here around the same thickness, if not a little bit thicker, that would be awesome. So I'm going to measure that and see what I get. Okay, so this isn't the smart way to do this, but to hold that micrometer here. See, this is called a micrometer and that is called calipers. To clarify what I said earlier. So that you got the 0, the smaller mark after that is 25, the bigger mark after that is 50. So what I would do is I would take that 50, there's the 15, you have the mark after that, which is 16, 17, 18, so I'd take 50 plus 18, that is 68. If you can do math quickly, that is 68, because the 50, and then you have a 10 down here, say that 10, there's 60, and then 65, which is the 15, then you got 68. Then you got whichever other mark along these little numbers here adds up. Okay, so I just realized, yeah, as far as I've gotten so far, but I just realized I'm gonna have to put maybe up to 3 parts on this video because of just how long it is. Because I don't want to post a hour and a half long video or something. Rather post it in little segments. So this will be part 1, and part 2 will be next, and maybe part 3 after that. We'll find out. But anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.